2020 has been a stressful time. That's perhaps the understatement of the year so far. So let's talk about stress and how we can manage it. Natasha Zavas is a naturopath and joins us now to delve a little bit deeper. Great to have you on Ticker, Natasha. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me today, Adrian.
Absolutely. So let's talk about stress. It is something that we all feel at different times. Me, you, we all feel it. So let's talk about chronic stress and why it's a killer at the moment. And let's talk about some tips to prevent some of this stress that we feel at the moment, particularly when it comes to executive burnout, which I know you like to talk about.
Yes. I mean, I'm in Melbourne like you are, Adrian, so I'm still in lockdown as well. So if we weren't stressed before as business owners, now we've thrown in lockdown into the mix and homeschooling children whilst trying to run your business from home. Yeah. So it's definitely a very, very stressful period. So I'm a naturopath, but I specialise in adrenal fatigue or executive burnout. So both words are sort of bandied around, but they mean the same thing, because 6 years ago when I started my business, and I'm sure a lot of business owners will resonate with this, at the beginning when you're starting a business, of course, you don't have a lot of resources. You can't outsource a lot of things. So you tend to do everything yourself. And being a busy working mum, I was still working part-time, juggling small children, trying to cope with home and business. So I was juggling way too much at the time. So there was a lot on my plate. So adrenal fatigue is basically chronic long-term stress, because our bodies can cope with short-term stress. It's when you are in this perpetual flight or fight response, you're highly stressed in a panicking state, and you do this for months and months and months. So you're pushing your body to that point of exhaustion. That's when your adrenal glands kind of say, hey, I just can't keep going. I can't keep producing, these stress lowering hormones anymore. And you can literally end up bedridden.
Yeah,
your health goes down the gurgler.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about, because I think people do feel stressed and then they think this will pass, I'll be fine, and they probably don't think about what the effects are down the track in 5-10 years, whatever it might be. Yes. So why is chronic stress so bad for us?
It's kind of like putting your body in a pressure cooker. Look, we're not designed to keep going. Our bodies have lots of signals to tell us that we're stressed and we need to slow down, but we tend to just keep pushing ourselves on to keep going. But stress can literally be a killer. You can wind up not only bedridden. Stress is responsible for about 60% of all modern diseases. So you can wind up having a stroke or a heart attack. Like, we're talking serious stuff. So when I say stress is a killer, I'm not just saying that word lightly. Totally. It literally can kill you. It affects every organ in your body.
All right, so let's talk about how we can prevent burning out. What would you say to someone out there who's going through it? How can we prevent it?
First of all, take 5 minutes to just stop. Kind of give yourself a life audit in a nutshell. I'm not talking about just looking at your business and auditing your business. Yep. I'm talking about looking at all areas of your life. So a lot of times when we're very, very stressed and overwhelmed, we might be being busy in our business, but we're not actually being productive or efficient, because we're just overwhelmed. So we're just almost being busy for busyness sake. So I think a really good tip is to stop and look at where you're scattering your energy. Focus on perhaps, say, 20% of sort of money-making activities in your business, and outsourcing the rest. So 80%, because that's not your zone of genius. So just outsourcing those activities. And when we're talking about your life, looking at your diet and your lifestyle. So if you're not sleeping, for instance, because you're so stressed, you're so wired but tired. So if you're living on 6 to 10 cups of coffee to keep you going throughout the day, and then you're having 3 to 4 wines at night to wind down, that's not
It's a big day.
conducive to
That's a big
a
day.
healthy. That's not conducive to a
Big day.
healthy body. So, so really looking at your diet is a really good tip. You know, you should be eating nourishing food to nourish your body, keep your immunity up. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know how many CEOs can run a business if you're bedridden because your health's down the gurgler.
Not many.
And
not many.
my final tip, it's probably a little bit woo-woo, but
Okay.
meditation. Now, I know some people say, look, meditation's not my thing, but the science is there that like 10 minutes of meditation is as good as about 3 hours of good quality sleep. So I say give it a go. If you're having trouble winding down at night to go to sleep because you're so highly strung, try downloading a free meditation off YouTube and trying that.
Yep.
And if you feel that you don't even have 10 minutes to yourself, why don't you try 2 minutes, just starting with 2 minutes, or even just trying to take some 10 deep breaths. Let's start with 10 deep breaths, because often when we're very, very stressed too, we tend to breathe very shallow. Mm-hmm. So when we're breathing nice and deeply, that also helps to calm down that stress response in the body. So that'll help you wind down to sleep at night.
They're great tips. Natasha, thanks so much for your time. Where can we jump online to find out more with what you're up to exactly?
Okay, you can find me on my websites, greensecrets.com.au. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Green Secrets Holistic Health.
Awesome stuff. Really enjoyed the chat. We'll touch base and talk again soon. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Adrian.